Five Nights at Freddy's is typically depicted as a game in which characters suffer great tragedies before eventually finding their peace within the afterlife. Though this isn't the case for all characters, and there is of course still a lot of suffering to be experienced after death, it is in the afterlife that justice is typically served. Throughout the game franchise, no character has been able to find peace while still alive, showing us that within this world, any connection to the Fazbear brand will cause a person great suffering, even for those whose only affiliation is that their parents were there, like Gregory and Cassie. And though you could make an argument for Gregory being able to escape, I'm not convinced that is a good ending, or that he's alive. Either way, in our constant pursuit of survival throughout the games, we perpetuate our own suffering in an attempt to free the souls of those killed by our father and end their suffering, before dying ourselves at some point, just because. However, I don't believe that this is the case. If you look just a little closer, I think that FNaF is truly a story about the inescapability of cycles created by human control and how this is constantly inflicted on those with less power, like children. And of course, understanding this fundamental change solves all of the FNaF lore. Starting with our dear old Michael Afton, long assumed to be the hero of our story, going about his days clearing up his father's mess. However, the FNaF 2 movie has given us a different perspective on this character that I believe to be more accurate with his intentions. With the existence of both Mike Schmidt and Michael Afton as two separate people, we can make the assumption that the belief that every night guard with the same name, Michael, is just an alias of Michael Afton is false, especially with how upset he gets when he's called Mike.
It's Michael, actually.
Anyway, this no longer being the case destroys the idea that Michael Afton has been going from pizzeria to pizzeria to destroy the animatronics and free the spirits, because he hasn't. Now, you can make an argument for how he burnt down the FNaF 6 pizzeria, killing his father and freeing all of the spirits, but I think we can safely assume that after experiencing the electrical fire in the Fazbear Frights location, that he'd know this has no effects on the animatronic. I mean, his dad was perfectly fine. And I think Michael Afton would be able to safely assume the fire isn't doing much at this point, and instead is just saving face to get closer to Henry, while taking joy in the extra pain that he is able to inflict on all the children that he's been able to gather. Also, if you've seen the movie, you'll have noticed that Michael Afton doesn't even wear any purple. So assuming that he's this purple guy or this purple guy is just plain wrong, because he's wearing black. So, that. Now, I know many people can question the canonicity of the films and the books, but this video is ultimately based on the information from the new movie, and I don't care about the obvious holes in my argument. So, moving on, as shown in the movie, it's clear that Michael Afton is tinkering with the animatronics is actually done in an attempt to assist his father and his father's work. He is trying to help find William, not so that he can destroy him, but so he can free him, and they can continue to work on William's empire of dead children. Because he just wants everyone dead? I mean, that's kind of the vibe you got from him in the film. Either way, this takes one of the characters long thought to be helping the dead children rest, and shows that his actual intention is to continue the cycle of suffering that his father has inflicted on him and his sister when they were younger. Speaking of Vanessa, she is also a part of perpetuating these children's struggles and the legacy of the Afton family. Although Vanessa has largely had an opposite treatment of her brother and has been depicted as a better person in the films than she was in Security Breach, of course we see Mike Schmidt begin to realise when she repeatedly refuses to disclose her deepest traumas to him.
Oh, let me guess. She never told you about me. That's my sister for you. She always was a little selective with the truth.
This depiction of Vanessa's evil side is literally shown in the first sequence of the film when she gives her friend a poisoned drink. No, but seriously, she tells Charlotte not to go into the backstage area.
Charlotte, don't.
And it's easy to dismiss this as her going, "Hey, you're not allowed back there." But as the owner's children, surely there's a slight exception. They've probably been in the back rooms with their dads hundreds of times before, so why would Vanessa have a problem with this unless she's already knew what was happening and what her dad was doing? Which again, some people may say like, oh, she was trying to protect her friend. Sure, but not the little boy who was dying. Doesn't matter if dear old dad kills a guy as long as it's not your friends, huh, Vanessa? Huh? Another scene that proves Vanessa's ill intent is the scene in which Vanessa does not react at all to Mike closing the music box. Vanessa knows how this music box works, and knows that it needs to be left on to keep Charlotte away, but lets him close it. In fact, throughout the whole film, Vanessa has been helping Charlotte escape the pizzeria so she can get revenge on all the adults who wronged her as children. Like Charlotte says. I mean, who gave Chica the code that helped set the animatronics free? Which, to add to this theory, doesn't make sense. If Charlotte can just possess people who can freely leave the perimeter of the pizzeria, then why doesn't she just do so and leave? Unless she can only possess animatronics. Stay with me here. This would explain why Vanessa is so insistent on protecting Abby. If, other than herself, of course, which we'll get back to, Abby is the only human passing animatronic in the area, and of course Vanessa would rather someone else possessed by Charlotte so that they can work together rather than having to work as a singular entity, I'm choosing to ignore that one ghost hunter, because what was the whole point in that entire section of the film? I don't get it. Also, she got broken, so it doesn't even matter. Back to the previous point I alluded to. Vanessa is... I believe that after hearing that Vanessa had a chance to stop Charlotte, and going into the back room, saving his first intended victim, William got so mad at her, she ended up dead herself. Vanessa. Seeing this moment of light in his daughter's eyes, in which expressed compassion and empathy, William knew he had to deal with her right away. Now, evidence of Vanessa being a robot. There's a lot of it. It's quite obvious. I'm surprised more people haven't called this out. Vanessa's scared of Baby in that one dream sequence. Now, why would she fear Baby that much if she's not a Charlie bot? Now, some people might be like, oh, well, there's a bunch of other dead kids already and she's seen Baby kill someone. But Charlotte's the first dead kid, so you're wrong. That's just how it is. Clearly, Baby is like the fourth closet, and she's gonna be the next Vanessa, who's probably even more evil, and that's why Vanessa's scared. Because when the next Charlie Bot fourth closet Baby is released, she'll kill Henry. Vanessa has to kill Henry. That just makes sense. You just need to read the books, and yeah, and so that means Vanessa's evil. Sorry, what was my point again? Taken together, these theories suggest that Five Nights at Freddy's is not about freeing souls or ending suffering, but about the inescapability of cycles created by human control. Michael Afton perpetuates violence through misguided actions. Technology traps spirits more effectively than death, and characters like Vanessa and Charlotte blur the lines between protector and perpetrator. In this interpretation, no one is truly alive, no one is truly free, and the horror of FNaF lies not in ghosts, but but in a system that endlessly recreates the same mistakes under the illusion of fixing them. Thank you. Which means the whole plot's like a metaphor. And so you don't need to worry about the lore because it's just a metaphor. That's the lore bit. That's all. On a side note, the marionette was always depicted as being more caring about the children in the game. It's the only animatronic to not hurt a child in the film. The evil Vanessa put Charlotte to sleep to stop her helping the other animatronics because she also wasn't hostile back then. And having seen that Vanessa cares about robot Abby, decides that Abby is actually like a threat like Vanessa and thus possesses her to be able to get with the other children, but they trusted Abby and then misread Charlotte's intent, and at the end, their love of Abby and not understanding that Abby is totally dead. And also the toys were just controlled by Michael Afton, so Charlotte's actually good, but is one of the weaker characters and so is overpowered by everyone else around her, and so it doesn't matter, and it just shows the tragedy and good versus evil, and how hopeless it is trying to like shift this cycle. So yeah.